So, alam naman po siguro ninyo na nag-convene na po as an impeachment trial court yung Senate today, June 10, 2025. Okay, so ngayon po ang papag-usapan natin is yung mga manifestations and mga remarks po ng iilang senators. So, i-explain ko po sa inyo yung mga remarks si Senator Joel, Senator Bato, yung amendment po ni Senator Cayetano, tapos yung iisa lang yan na mga remarks po ni Senator Risa. Yan po, papaliwanag ko sa inyong lahat today. Okay, so good day everybody. This is AttorNEIL Abayon po, your quote-unquote favorite DDS lawyer, at yan po yung papag-usapan natin for today. Kahit na po medyo napa-overtime na po tayo, pero wala, ganun po talaga eh. Pero anyway po, before po tayo mag-start, just a quick reminder po, kung masyado pong mabilis yung pagsalita ko or yung discussion ko, pindutin nyo lang po yung cogwheel sa gilid. Lalo na po kung sa YouTube kayo nanonood, pwede nyo po yan bagalan. May playback speed po yan na option kung saan pwede nyo i-slow down, okay? At kung nag-enjoy po kayo sa video na to or any of my past videos, huwag nyo po kalimutan mag-subscribe sa channel kung nasa YouTube po kayo. At kung nasa Facebook or TikTok naman po, mag-follow naman po yung gawin ninyo. Ngayon, start na po tayo sa discussions natin. So for today po talaga, meron tayong 8 na papag-usapan. Meron tayong 8 statements dito or manifestations and or motions po from numerous senators na i-explain ko sa inyo isa-isa. So unang-una po dyan is yung sinabi ni Senator Joel na wala daw power mag-summarily dismiss yung impeachment court, yung Senate impeachment court, kasi wala daw express provision dun sa Constitution. Okay, so yan po yung una. Then pangalawa po, yung arguments naman between Senator Bato and Senator Risa na hindi daw pwede mag-motion to dismiss. So more or less same din to kay Senator Joel, pero isa-isahin lang po natin. Then pangatlo naman po yung kay Senator Cayetano naman, yung motion for remand niya, kung saan inamend niya po yung motion to dismiss ni Senator Bato. Okay? And then number 4 po natin is yung kay Senator Gatchalian's remark na premature pa ang dismissal since wala pa daw ang trial, hindi pa nagsistart yung trial. And then kay Senator Poe's remark na remanding equals invalidating. So itong kay Senator Poe, more or less same din to dun sa iisa lang na remark din po ni Senator Risa. Pero anyway, ngayon punta po tayo. Number 6 naman na discussion natin is yung what you cannot do directly, you cannot do indirectly na explanation po ni Senator Cayetano in relation po to dun sa multiple impeachment complaints filed against Vice President Sara Duterte. And then number 7 po natin, yung una, dalawa po kasi itong iisa lang comment ni Senator Risa eh. So yung una po niyang iisa lang na comment is regarding the impeachment complaint na iisa lang daw yung final naman at na-refer sa kanila sa Senate. Okay? At yung number 8 po natin, yung last, yung pangalawang iisa lang na remark ni Senator Risa na iisa lang daw yung dismiss, remand, return. Iisa lang daw po yan lahat. Okay? So ngayon, punta po muna tayo sa question or sa statement number 1 ni Senator Joel Villanueva. Okay, so yung sinabi po kasi ni Senator Joel talaga dito, hindi ko na po ipi-play yung actual statement niya kasi mapapahaba po tayo panoorin eh. Pero you can watch it naman po dito sa YouTube account ng Senate or dito po sa ABS-CBN News ako nanonood. So lahat po ng statements ng Senator, kung gusto niyo po i-verify, you can watch it po sa Senate website mismo or dito po sa ABS-CBN News. Covered naman po yan. So in summary po, yung didiscuss natin dito is yung sinabi ni Senator Joel Villanueva na bawal daw mag-summarily dismiss yung impeachment trial court considering wala daw express provision na ganun sa Constitution. Okay? So sa ganyan po, ang masasabi ko lang, hindi po kailangan tingnan talaga ng impeachment trial court yung Constitution kasi in-adopt naman po nila yung 2019 Revised Rules of Civil Procedure. Sabi po ng impeachment trial court, specifically ni SP, ni Senate President or ni presiding judge po, Chis Escudero, before po sila nag-start, nag-take out, diba, in-adopt mo na nila yung mga rules ng Senate and then in-adopt din po nila doon yung 2019 Revised Rules on Civil Procedure. Okay? So kung titingnan po natin under the 2019 Revised Rules on Civil Procedure, pwede po mag-summary dismissal yung isang korte. Okay? At yung ground po na yan para maka-summary dismissal yung isang korte is if there is lack of jurisdiction po over the case. So dito po kasi yung mga arguments currently, itong time po na nagdi-discuss pa si Senator Joel, the main discussion pa dito was due to lack of jurisdiction because of the lapses daw dun sa Constitution pag-file ng numerous impeachment complaints. So inobjectan niya yung motion dito ni Senator Bato kasi wala daw summary dismissal. However, under the 2019 Revised Rules on Civil Procedure, pwede po mag-summarily dismiss ang court on the ground of lack of jurisdiction. Okay? So ibig sabihin po kasi ng summary dismissal pala, explain ko rin po pala para mas maintindihan naintindihan ninyo. Summary dismissal means po it is a dismissal without a full-blown trial. Ibig sabihin sa preliminary matters pa lang pwede na siya ma-dismiss yung kaso. Tapos dito pong lack of jurisdiction, pwede rin po to siya i-dismiss ng court na tinatawag po na motu proprio. Okay? When you say motu proprio po, ang ibig sabihin yan, it is the action of the court by itself without any movant po. In short, kung gusto ng court i-dismiss because there is clearly a lack of jurisdiction, pwede po yan gawin ng korte under the 2019 Revised Rules on Civil Procedure. Okay? And the reason, again, kung bakit sinasite ko po tong Revised Rules on Civil Procedure, because this was adopted po by the Impeachment Court proper. Pwede nyo po panoorin yan yung part nung ina-adapt nila yung rules. Binanggit po yan ni Senate President Cheese Escudero. So in conclusion po, in summary, ang point ko po talaga dito, hindi kailangan tingnan yung constitutional provisions directly. Pwede naman po pagbasihan yung impeachment, yung Senate impeachment rules and the 2019 Revised Rules on Civil Procedure kung meron bang summary dismissal on issues of jurisdiction. Okay? And like what I have already explained, pwede po yan kahit na po motu proprio gawin ng korte. Ngayon punta naman po tayo sa question number 2 natin. So dito po ngayon, ito na yung tungkol dun sa argument po ni Senator Bato de la Rosa at Senator Risa Hontiveros. So si Senator Bato po nag-motion to dismiss, tapos Senator Risa Hontiveros ang sabi niya, hindi daw pwede mag-motion to dismiss yung korte. So dun po sa sinabi ni Senator Risa na hindi pwede mag-motion to dismiss, dun po agree ako kay Senator Risa, okay? However, hindi po ako agree na bawal mag-dismiss ang korte summarily or without any proper motions na final, okay? Kasi tatandaan po natin yung Senate dito, hindi na po sila senators. They are an actual court already. They are called the Impeachment Trial Court. At pag korte po kasi, hindi na kailangan actually mag-motion ng court kung may gusto siyang gawin. Kung may gusto pong gawin ang korte, ang gagawin lang po niyan is mag-i-issue siya ng either order or decision regarding a certain issue or a certain subject matter. So dito actually, kung gusto talaga maging legally correct based on what happens in regular courts, ang pwede nga gawin po dito ni Senator Bato, this is my point of view po for my understanding on how our courts work po dito based from my experience as a lawyer. Ang pwede po gawin dito ni Senator Bato is pwede lang siya mag-request na mag-issue siya ng order for dismissal because there is a lack of jurisdiction, tapos pagbotohan na po nila directly sa buong korte. In short, ulitin ko po, hindi na kailangan mag-motion because they are an actual court already and the court does not make motions, rather it issues orders or decision. So dapat dito sinabi ni Senator Bato, I am issuing an order of dismissal, then let us put it on vote. Dapat ganun po kung gusto talaga na proper yung mangyari. So doon po agree ako kay Senator Risa na hindi pwede yung quote-unquote motion to dismiss, pero pwede pa rin mag-dismiss by issuing an order on the part from the court directly. Okay? At si Senator Bato, since he is a judge, one of the judges, pwede niya po yun gawin, mag-issue siya, tapos pagbotohan na lang po nila lahat ng mga senator judges. Okay? Ngayon punta naman po tayo sa number 3. So yung number 3 naman po natin is tungkol dun sa amendment ni Senator Cayetano sa motion ni Senator Bato kung saan gusto na lang nila is i-remand or i-return sa House of Representatives yung impeachment complaint. So unang-una po ang masasabi ko, itong ganito pong move is more favorable po to dun sa mga anti-impeachment. Kasi mangyayari po niyan, parang kang nag-motion for clarification. Yan po yung equivalent from how I see it po. So pag may motion for clarification, there is now added work dun sa prosecutors. So in a sense, parang mas napapa-delay yung yung proceeding yung nangyari. However, hindi naman po porket ibig sabihin na delay yung proceeding is mali na yon, kasi that is still a legal remedy naman po yan na pwede talaga mag-remand yung isang court kung gusto nila. So dito po proper tong ginawa nila considering na meron ngang possible issues, 'di ba? Constitutional issues, possible issues in relation to the 1-year bar rule of the Constitution. Therefore, proper lang na i-remand nila yan para i-clarify ng House of Representatives or ng prosecutors na wala silang na-violate sa Constitution. Okay? So, yan po yung tingin ko dito sa motion to remand na ginawa po ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. And idagdag ko na lang din po pala, yung goal kasi dito ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is gusto niya ipa-remand or ipa-return sa prosecutor para magkaroon ng or para gumawa ng certification yung House of Representatives na wala silang violate sa Constitution. So kung ako po tatanungin, pwede pwede rin kasi to i-counter ng House of Representatives na since they already transmitted the articles of impeachment dun sa Senate, therefore, ang effect po niyan is parang sinertify na nila na wala talagang violation according to the House of Representatives. Pero since yun nga po, the court dito, yung korte po is yung Senate, therefore they can issue orders to direct the parties involved to clarify certain subject matters. So yan po yung mga legal nuances from both sides para lang po mas maintindihan nyo talaga yung concept ng remand, clarification in relation to the possible interpretation dun sa actions po nung House of Representatives. So ngayon, punta naman po tayo kay Senator Gatchalian. In summary po, yung sinabi dito ni Senator Gatchalian is premature pa daw po yung pag-motion to dismiss kasi wala pa naman sila sa trial proper. Dapat daw dinggin yung mga side talaga ng both parties, mag-present ng evidence, so on and so forth. Pero para po mas maintindihan nyo, i-define ko po muna or explain ko sa inyo kung ano ba talaga yung trial proper, yung term na trial proper kasi lagi po natin naririnig yan lately and I'm assuming madami pong misconceptions regarding that term. So ganito po kasi yan. In a case, when you file a case naman po, hindi yan automatically pupunta agad sa trial. Meron pa po yung mga preliminary matters which is yung filing nung complaint, which in this case is yung impeachment complaint, and then after po niyan yung defendant, dito po si Vice President Sara Duterte, may chance po siya to file her answer. So during that phase po of the case, preliminary matters pa lang po yan, wala pa po tayo sa trial proper, okay? Yung trial proper po kasi that is the part of the case kung saan nagpe-present na po ng evidence, ng witnesses, yung both parties. Yun na po yung nakikita natin usually sa mga movies, sa mga series. Yan yung trial proper talaga of a case. Okay, now going back to the question kung premature ba talaga na mag-motion to dismiss na or pag-usapan na yung dismissal of a case sa preliminary matters pa lang, hindi po yan siya premature. Okay? Because a motion to dismiss actually, sa preliminary matters po yan ng kaso ginagawa or fina-file po talaga. Once the complaint is filed, then the defendant will be required to file an answer. Dun po pwede siya sumagot or idlagay niya sa defense niya yung motion to dismiss niya due to the ground of lack of jurisdiction. Pati in this part of the case din po sa preliminary matters, the court itself po can also motu proprio dismiss on the ground of lack of jurisdiction like what yung inexplain ko kanina dun kay Senator Joel Villanueva. So lahat po yan nangyayari yan sa preliminary matters of the case o hindi po sa trial proper. Okay? So again, in summary po, the court can dismiss kahit po hindi pa nag-start yung trial proper kasi part po yan sa preliminary matters talaga yung motion to dismiss or a motu proprio dismissal by a court regarding jurisdiction issues po. Okay? So, yan lang po. Huwag po sana natin huwag tayo ma-confuse dun sa term na trial proper. Hindi naman po trial lang yung nangyayari sa kaso. Once na-file na po yung complaint, that is already part of the case proceedings po yan. Okay? So ngayon, punta naman po tayo kay Senator Grace Poe. Sinabi po ni Senator Grace Poe dito in summary is that parehas lang daw yung remand sa dismissal or yung remand daw po equals dismissal or is equivalent to a dismissal. So ito po sinagot naman to ni Senator Peter Cayetano. Nevertheless, I will still explain my point of view din po para at least hopefully mas maintindihan or mas magets nyo po yung concept. Okay? So sa law school po, one of the basic principles na tinuturo talaga sa amin pag freshman ka pa lang is that never assume. Okay? Ibig sabihin po, wag po dapat tayong mag-assume na kung yung sinabi ng isang tao is ganito pala yung meaning. In short, kung ano po yung sinabi niya, dapat dun lang tayo, period. Hindi tayo magdadagdag bawas or to assume what it could possibly mean. Okay? So dito po kasi si Senator Grace Poe, she is assuming now that remand is in equivalent to dismissal. Pero yun nga po, hindi dapat ganun yun. Okay? The courts are very strict po regarding terminologies na sinasabi ng mga parties in a case. Kaya nga po kahit ako dito sa videos ko, kung tingnan po ninyo yung yung guidelines ko to comment, lalo na po sa YouTube channel, nakalagay po dyan, make sure you always stick to the facts and issues being discussed. In short, wag po tayo maghalo-halo ng mga issues, ng mga facts, or magdagdag bawas po sa statements ko. Kung ano yung sinabi ko, kung ano yung sinabi ng party, dapat dun lang tayo magbe-base ng argument natin. Because if we will make assumptions on the statements of other individuals, ang dating po niyan ngayon, para kang nag-argue para mas pumabor sa narrative mo yung counter mo dun sa argument ng kalaban mo, 'di ba? So dito kasi ngayon sinabi ni Senator Grace Poe yung remand daw is still an equivalent to dismissal kasi ano daw bumalik na sa House of Representatives, pero hindi po yan ganyan. In court proceedings po, remand simply means ibalik lang because may gustong i-clarify yung korte. Yun lang po yun. Hindi po ibig sabihin yan dismissal. Babalik lang po sa House of Representatives ngayon para ma-achieve yung objective ng Senate na magkaroon ng certification on whether or not may violate ba talaga yung House of Representatives dun sa constitutional provisions in relation to the 1-year bar rule. Okay? So in conclusion, ang pinaka-point ko po dito, wag po tayong magdagdag bawas and never po tayong mag-assume sa mga statements, sa mga facts, or sa mga provisions po ng batas natin. Okay? Hindi po ganyan sa legal system natin. Kaya again, ulitin ko, ako po lagi ko rin yan inuulit talaga dito sa channel ko na wala po tayong dagdag bawas. Kung ano yung pinag-usapan, dun lang tayo, period. Kasi again, you cannot speak for your kalaban, di ba? You should just make your arguments based on the actual words used by the opposing party. Ganun po dapat mag-argue. Okay? Ngayon punta po tayo sa next naman po nating senator. So ngayon ang didiscuss naman po natin is yung explanation ni Senator Cayetano regarding the legal principle that what you cannot do directly, you cannot do indirectly in relation dun sa 1-year bar rule po ng filing of multiple impeachment complaints. Okay? Kasi sinabi kasi ni Senator Grace Poe na there was only one case. So more or less parang same po si Senator Grace Poe at si Senator Risa. Iba lang yung wordings nila sa pagka-present. So dito in-explain ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano na hindi po iisa lang yun kasi ang current setup po ng House of Representatives because of the rules of the House of Representatives na defeat po ngayon yung constitutional provision regarding the 10-day and 3-day requirement of the Constitution in relation to the filing of a verified impeachment complaint. Okay? Kasi under the Constitution po natin, very specific po yung directive dyan ng Supreme Law of the Land po natin. Once ma-file po yung verified impeachment complaint, dapat within 10 days malagay agad yan sa calendar of business, and after that within 3 days ma-refer agad sa Committee on Justice. So kung makita po nyo, there is really a sense of urgency po sa pag-action po ng impeachment complaint once filed na po. Pero ang nangyari po kasi sa rules ng Senate ngayon, sa rules po ng House of Representatives ngayon, ang nangyari, ifa-file muna sa SecGen's office, tapos yung Secretary General has the full discretion to determine when to transmit it to the Speaker's office. So ang nangyari actually dito sa impeachment ni VP Sara, hindi na na-file or na-refer sa calendar of business at sa Committee on Justice yung number 1, number 2 at number 3 impeachment complaints. Yan po yung nangyari. So ito po, konting na lang din to, promotion of my old videos. Yan po yung in-explain ko nung February, dun sa February something ko na video regarding the 4th impeachment complaint filed against Vice President Sara Duterte. So bago pa po pumutok lahat to, I already made a video where I expressed my legal position on the matter, and nakatuwa lang na at least si Senator Cayetano, who I highly respect po as a individual and as a senator, na sang-ayon din pala siya sa ganung interpretation of the Constitution. Okay? So anyway, kung gusto niyo po panoorin yung video kung yun, quick promotion lang po tayo, ilalagay ko na lang po yan sa description. Okay? Yan po yung 4th impeachment complaint video ko po. Okay? So ngayon, punta naman po tayo kay Senator Risa Hontiveros regarding her very first iisa lang na comment. So ang sabi niya po, yung pinakauna niya is iisa lang daw yung impeachment complaint filed since isa lang naman po yung na-transmit po sa kanila sa Senate na articles of impeachment. Therefore, because iisa lang is yun nga, iisa lang daw yung impeachment complaint. Okay, so ito, kinounter din to ni Senator Cayetano, but I would also just explain, more or less same lang din to kay Senator Grace Poe. So tandaan nga po natin, under our Constitution, we have a 10-day and 3-day requirement upon filing of verified impeachment complaint. So again, ang nangyari po kay Vice President Sara Duterte, pag file po nung December, inupuan nung SecGen, hindi na na-refer sa calendar at hindi na rin po na-refer sa Committee on Justice hanggang may nag-file na naman po ng 2nd and 3rd impeachment complaint. Okay? Ang nangyari po kasi, or ang posible po kasi talagang mangyari in that situation, kung nasunod po talaga yung Constitution, dapat pag-file pa lang po nung December, more or less yung first impeachment complaint was already referred po to the Committee on Justice December December or January pa lang, okay? And the reason kung bakit importante po talaga yung referral sa Committee on Justice is because once an impeachment complaint is referred po to that committee, it is deemed that the impeachment proceedings has already been initiated, okay? And once an impeachment complaint has been deemed initiated, hindi na po pwede mag-file ng iba pang impeachment complaint. Tas doon na po ngayon papasok yung tinatawag na 1-year bar rule. Pero yun nga po, because of the current setup of the House of Representatives, pwede na po i-dribble ng SecGen's office, which defeats the purpose ng 10-day and 3-day requirement na specific mandate po ng Constitution. And because of that, my legal position po, from how I understand the Constitution, there was a possible violation of the 10-day and 3-day requirement of the Constitution in relation to impeachment complaints. Okay, so currently po, yung setup ngayon, tama naman si Senator Risa, na iisa nga lang yung impeachment complaint. However, kung manalo po si Vice President Sara Duterte, kasi nag-file po siya ng case with the same argument po more or less sa Supreme Court, pag mangyari po yan, ngayon, magiging hindi na po iisa lang yung impeachment complaint na final. Kung hindi, there were multiple impeachment complaints filed within a span of 1 year, which prohibits the 1-year bar rule. Okay? But again, I would just like to reiterate, wala pa pong actual court decision. So yung status, so far, tama dito si Senator Risa. At present, tama po siya. Pero we never know later on kung ano po yung magiging decision ng Supreme Court in relation to this issue. Okay? And ito po, medyo side comment na lang to pero si Senator Risa po kasi she was one of the persons who was very vocal with the term forthwith dun sa convening po ng impeachment trial court. So medyo ano lang din ba, parang ano lang din ako, I'm wondering bakit hindi natin narinig man lang si Senator Risa mag-speak up against this 10-day and 3-day requirement. Yung pinupukpok lang niya paulit-ulit is yung forthwith, pero dito sa 10-day and 3-day wala po tayong naririnig na comments or remarks from her regarding this. Ito po, side remark lang po to, pero yan, gusto ko lang din po ipaalam po sa inyo, taong bayan na nanonood pa sa video ko at this time po na medyo late na po tayo. Anyway, ngayon punta na po tayo sa last discussion natin for today. So yung last po natin is still involves Senator Risa Hontiveros po. Specifically yung iisa lang niya na comment na iisa lang daw yung remand, return, and dismissal. Okay? So again, I would just like to reiterate, hindi po yan siya iisa lang. Okay? We should never assume, we should never mix and match. Kung ano yung sinabi dun sa motion, ano yung sinabi ng isang litigant, hanggang dun lang po tayo mag-base ng ating counter-arguments or ng statements. Okay? So kung sinabi lang po remand for the purposes of getting a certification from the House na walang anything na violate sa Constitution, di dapat yun lang po yung sundin natin, okay? And again, tandaan po natin, kapangyarihan po ng court yan na mag-issue ng order na ganyan kasi part po talaga ng court to order, to give orders po to the litigants in a case, okay? At yung mga litigants po niyan, magsasubmit naman po ng tinatawag na compliance to that order, okay? So yan po yung proceeding talaga sa korte po natin. So ang gusto ko lang din pong idagdag dito actually, itong pag-remand din po ng korte, ng impeachment trial court, this is actually in line with due process if you ask me, diba? Because if the court believes there are potential constitutional violations on the part of the party litigants, the directive or power po talaga yan ng korte to issue an order directing the party litigants to clarify their complaints or their positions on certain matters para maka-fully decide yung korte kung meron ba talagang violations in relation to the constitutional provisions. Okay, so again, ulitin ko lang po, it is part of due process para mas maliwanag po sa lahat ng party. So yan lang po yung tandaan natin dito. This does not violate the legal principles or the general principles sa mga legal proceedings po natin. Parte po talaga yan ng court. So anyway, hopefully klaro po yung discussions natin for today. Hindi ko na po na-cover kung ano pa ba yung dinidiscuss ng Senate ngayon habang nagre-record ko to kasi medyo late na po talaga at masyado nang mahaba din tong notes ko. But hopefully may natutunan po kayo today. If you have follow-up questions po regarding the impeachment process, I have multiple videos already regarding the impeachment. So pwede nyo po yun panoorin. Baka, para naman at least baka nasagot ko na dun sa mga lumang videos ko yung mga questions ninyo. So hanggang dyan lang po muna tayo today. Hopefully klaro po yun. If you like legal educational videos sa current events, follow lang po kayo sa akin. And I am sure po I will be covering the impeachment proceeding most likely po per hearing basis. Okay? Pero hanggang dyan lang po muna tayo today. Until next time, see you all po. Bye-bye!